I'm Charlotte McLeod with investingnews.com, and here today with me is Brandon Bonifacio, President, CEO, and Director at NevGold. Thank you so much for being here. Great to have you.
Thanks for having me.
Really good to be speaking with you. We've got lots to get into today. Where I thought we could begin is with just a brief introduction to yourself, your background in the sector, and to NevGold.
So I'm the founder and CEO of NevGold. We've been publicly listed since 2021. I myself have both a financial and a technical mining engineering background, and we've really brought together a very strong group of assets focused in the Western US with both exposure to gold, copper, and a recent development with respect to antimony, which is a critical mineral in the US. So very fortunate with the assets we've brought together the past couple of years, and we're actively drilling, and there's a lot that we've accomplished at the projects over the past 3 to 4 years since we've been publicly listed.
Well, nice, concise introduction. And where we want to begin with is news out of Limo Butte today. Some important news, and I'm hoping that you can give a quick overview for investors.
Suffice to say, we're extremely encouraged and excited. Today's development has been extremely positive. We've made a new discovery that we're calling the Bullet Zone at our Resurrection Ridge target area. So we always knew Resurrection Ridge had potential for both gold and antimony, but the fact that we've uncovered the highest grade antimony interval that we've drilled to date at the project in the newly discovered Bullet Zone opens up a lot more ground at the project with respect to both antimony and gold development, and the time is never better. We have the best of both worlds with both gold and antimony, and we have a path forward to getting to what is a very important mineral resource at the project over the coming months with the current drill program. So it's a very positive development, and we're very encouraged with how much we were able to step out and expand mineralization with this new discovery hole.
Well, very, very exciting news. And again, lots for us to dig into here. I'm wondering if you can put those results into context in terms of the work that's going on at Limo Butte right now.
So we always knew Resurrection Ridge had a nice footprint of historical drilling and drilling that we had done on the project. This was testing an entirely new target concept. This target concept and the fact that we made a discovery on the first hole is also extremely promising because it opens up a lot of ground at the Limo Butte project that had no drilling historically. So it opens up a lot of ground, and this was 150 or over 150 meter step out, and we hit very high grade both antimony and gold in 2 separate zones. So it adds a lot of mineralization potential with the step out hole, and we're obviously following up on that hole as we speak with further drilling. We're almost 11 holes into the program, and I can tell you a lot of the holes are looking extremely promising based on what we've drilled and released with this hole 002. So very positive, and we're going to continue to drill until the winter months, and we should expect to get at least another 10 to 20 holes in this program.
All right. And of course, that's exactly where I was going to ask, when were we going to get the next results? So we've got a timeline for that. So you will have this current work going on, and I believe there's also historic work that you're releasing from the project. So I'm wondering if you can talk a little bit about that and help us understand.
So we were very fortunate. Limo Butte's a project that has been drilled for the better part of the last 30 to 40 years that actually had a past producing gold mine on it. But as of last year, with the change in the antimony market and it becoming one of the commodities that moved the most in the last 12 months, it's at all-time highs at around $60,000 per ton now, coming up from a price of around $10,000 per ton. It's highly strategic. And why is it strategic? It's used in all bullets fired in the world, hence the name of our new discovery called the Bullet Zone. So it's a very important part of the project, but the fact that we can re-assay holes that were never assayed for antimony historically, but also conduct new drilling and focus on making new discoveries and expanding the mineralization at the project, that's really what we're focused on. So we do have, as I said, and as I mentioned, the best of both worlds, but the fact that we've got over 100,000 meters of drilling at the project already done, we don't need to drill much to be able to reach the next stages of project development and milestones. So we're very fortunate we have all those dollars or drilling meters into the ground already that we can reassay, and the fact that we only need to do around a 5,000 meter program now to get to that next stage of development, which is the mineral resource, we're in a very good position because of that. Because why is that important? It means less money into the ground and more focus on driving value.
Well, and I also want to get into those two markets, antimony and gold. You mentioned that's the best of both worlds. So you spoke a little bit about the growing importance of antimony, what it's used for, etc. I also want to talk a little bit about its critical mineral status, because I'm sure that that gives some advantages, especially in the US, as we have supply chain security becoming more important. So anything that you would add there?
Yeah, I think it's been a transformational year in the United States specifically in how they've managed some of these critical minerals. You've seen the US government starting to take investment positions in projects or companies with domestic US assets. And I think that's no different for something like us with Limousine Butte. When you look at the US landscape currently, we are one of the more advanced antimony projects. And I think with that comes a lot of attention. I think if we can continue to drill and deliver and achieve our upcoming milestones, we are in a very strong position to be able to get some of that US government funding, because there are no projects that are advanced as us. So I think we're in a very good position. It's been great to see how the US government's managed the last 12 months with respect to critical minerals, and I don't see that stopping. You're seeing them focused on a lot of the producing stage companies now, and it's just a matter of time before they start to look at companies like NevGold with development stage projects that could become mines one day. So we're in a very good position because of that. I think there's a lot of attention on these type of assets and companies, and we're starting to get that recognition now as we speak, which is great to see.
It does feel like there is a change there in terms of critical minerals in the US and the approach. So you'll keep working and we'll see how that plays out. Of course, we've got to touch on gold as well. It's trading at historic highs right now. And I'm wondering for you, you already said best of both worlds. Where would you place gold in the cycle? What would you mention as drivers of the metal?
I think I heard someone say this analogy, but I don't think we're even out of the national anthem yet, using a baseball reference. So I don't even think we're in the first or second inning. I think we are going to have a lot more room to run over the next few years or decades. And I think we're in very good shape from a commodity price standpoint and cycle standpoint. I think a lot of the individuals who have been in this business have been waiting for the move that gold's had in the last 3 to 6 months. And I think it looks extremely strong. I think when you look at the macroeconomic situation, fiat currencies are not necessarily what they used to be. And a lot of people are looking at gold for the traditional safe haven aspect of it, because there really is no other place to invest today if you're looking at preserving, maintaining, and growing wealth. So I think gold touches on that. And I do think we're in the early stages of what is a potential super cycle on our hands. And again, that bodes well for companies like NevGold. It has been a tougher last couple of years because of the status of the capital markets, commodity markets, and broader markets. But the fact that we've maintained our capital structure, we've brought together very high quality projects, and we've systematically advanced them during what is a more challenging period in the market, it's just a matter of time before we get that recognition and before we can continue to advance and we get those large valuation lifts that one would expect. So I think we're in very good shape, and I think it's just a matter of time before companies like NevGold start to get that inflow like one would expect, with gold price at $4,000 plus and antimony at $60,000 per ton.
Well, and I think that leads into another point I wanted to bring up. Of course, we have this interest in gold. We have growing interest in antimony. Is it translating into interest from investors? It sounds like that's coming. I know your share price is on the move. Anything further you'd add?
Yeah, I think it's a function of us having done a very well-timed financing in May. We don't have a financing overhang. There's no near-term needs to finance. And I think when you look at what we've accomplished with those funds, we've started a 5,000 meter drill program at Limousine Butte, but we cannot forget we still have the two other assets that we would consider flagship in our portfolio. One of those is called Nutmeg Mountain in Idaho, and we recently came out with a 2025 gold resource on that project at surface, heap leach, total resource of 1.75 million ounces. That is becoming a very interesting project as well as we continue to advance it and develop it. And then we've got our third asset, not third in ranking, but third in speaking about, called Zeus, which is a highly prospective copper project right next to the ever important discovery made by a company called Hercules Metals on their copper porphyry discovery in Idaho. So we've brought together three what are company maker projects. Now the focus is how do we maximize value and how do we extract the value from those assets by advancing them and de-risking them. And that's the phase we're in now. And I think that's why we've started to get a lot of attention from different institutional investors, certain corporate groups, and the retail investors alike.
Well, I think you've encapsulated well what the company is up to right now. But before I let you go, any final points you would leave investors with, any key catalysts that we should be watching for in the months to come?
It's going to be an extremely news-heavy next period. As I mentioned, this is only the first hole we're releasing today from that 5,000 meter program. We have another 10 holes at the assay lab as we speak, so there should be more news from the drill program. We're also conducting certain key aspects to that antimony side of the Limo Butte project, one of those being the metallurgical test work, which is a key de-risking milestone as well. So we should have results from that in the coming weeks. So it should be very interesting to see how it all plays out. And again, with the gold, with the antimony, and specifically this new discovery at the Bullet Zone with some of the highest grade antimony we've seen, I think it's just the start of what we're going to be able to deliver at Limo Butte. We're going to be following up on this new discovery, and we think there's a very high probability of making more discoveries of high-grade antimony and gold project-wide, which sets us up for the next stage of development. So it's a very important time for the company, and even us trading at our approximately 50 million market cap today, there's a lot of room for this company to continue to extract that value proposition that you would see as the projects continue to advance. So very pleased as the CEO, and I know our team's extremely pleased with the discovery that was made, but I do think it's the early stages of what is a very interesting next couple of years for the company.
Exciting times. That's great to hear. Thank you so much for the updates. We'll have to keep an eye on what the company is up to. I hope to have you back soon.
Thanks very much. Thanks for the time today.
Of course. And once again, I'm Charlotte McLeod with investingnews.com, and this is Brandon Bonifacio with NevGold.